Hi, this is Megan Orlando. This is my Module 5 about continuous improvement. My first question here is, who are we? We are part of the Eudora School District. At the elementary level, we have over 800 students from kindergarten through 5th grade, and we have over 30 classroom teachers serving those students. Right now, our platforms for looking at data collection and data analysis include AIMSweb, EduClimber, PowerSchool, and ClassDojo. What does the Kansas report card say about our district? Now, this is the entire district, not just the elementary school. Looking at graduation and dropout rates, if we compare our rates to the state averages, we are doing better in both of those areas. We only have 8% of students not graduating in Eudora compared to the state average at 14% not graduating. Our dropout rate is just a little bit lower than the state average. Ours is at 1.3%, while the state average is at 1.7%. Now, of course, these numbers don't necessarily affect our students right now at the elementary level, but we can look at these to see long-term how our students are doing. If we look at attendance rates in our district, we're at 94%, which is the same as the state average. That's a great rate, shows that most of our students are coming to school. The ACT scores in Eudora, our last score reported, or average score reported, was 22.2, which is a little bit higher than the state average at 21.7. Again, this does not affect the elementary school, but I do think that it's important to look at how students, once they are in high school, are performing. If we look at teacher qualifications, now this information is in regards to the elementary school. We have 1% of teachers who are not highly qualified to be teaching the core courses that they are teaching, and we have 2% of teachers with emergency licenses instead of being fully licensed. If we look at demographics in our district, for gender, we're almost even. We have 53% male students and 46% female. If we look at race and ethnicity, we are not a very diverse district. 87% of our students are white, 1% are African American, 5% are Hispanic, and 6% are other ethnicities. Continuing with demographics, 38% of our students are economically disadvantaged, 16% of our students have disabilities, and only 1% of our students are English language learners. So how do we look at data right now at the elementary level? The data that we look at the most comes from AIMSweb and EduClimber. We look at AIMSweb for benchmark scores and progress monitoring. For benchmarking, we look to see if there's been growth from the fall to winter to spring, and we also look for growth across grade levels. For progress monitoring, we're looking more at individual students to see if the interventions in place are meeting their needs. In other words, are scores improving and are students learning? In regards to EduClimber, we can look at student minors and majors. We can identify problem areas or times of day. This could be for a specific student, a grade level, or across the entire school. We can see care forms to see if we're meeting our students' social emotional needs. We can also look at student support plans to see if the interventions that are being implemented are helping students. In other words, are we seeing growth? Other sources of data we look at include PowerSchool, where we can see grades, attendance, gender, ethnicity. We can look at ClassDojo, which kindergarten and first grades use to track both positive behaviors and minors and majors. We can look at family engagement survey results to see how parents feel about the school culture and climate, how they feel about their child or children's teachers, how they feel about their involvement in their children's educations. We can look at teacher survey results to see how teachers feel about the systems that we have in place, about collaboration, whether that's among grade levels, among specialists, among the entire school. We can look at how they feel about committees and reports from those committees making it to everyone, and we can look at how teachers feel about the school culture and climate. So when are we looking at data? Who is looking at data? And what decisions are made based on that data? How we look at data at our school. Data is looked at right now during building leadership team meetings by the members of that team, during the MTSS academic and MTSS behavior team meetings with those committee members, during grade level collaboration, and following benchmark testing. Following benchmark testing, the reading specialists are often looking at the data, and administration looks at data as well, often during those committee meetings. Decisions that are made from looking at the data include determining if interventions in place are effectively meeting goals, if supports need to be changed or dismissed, if movement among tiers in MTSS math or reading need to occur, and if changes to the procedures we have in place in regards to what is being taught when or what interventions can be used. Where do we want to be, and what are the gaps between where we are and where we want to be? If we put together the data that's available on the Kansas report card about our district, we can get an idea of achievement at the secondary level. I think it's important that we can reflect on how achievement at the elementary level is affecting students in the long run. Again, graduation rates are high and dropout rates are low. I think we need to continue supporting students' academic, behavior, and social emotional needs. We need to make sure that families and students feel welcome, and we need to continue valuing the importance of education. We can also reflect on how the demographics in our district are affecting student achievement and determine if we can do anything to help. For example, looking at the percentage of families who are economically disadvantaged, how can we be helping them? Some examples include preschool and early intervention, free tutoring and academic support, support for parents, access to books and technology, free and reduced lunch and breakfast. We have some of these things in place, but it's important to look at what else we can be doing to be supporting families like these. The gaps between where we are and where we want to be include we don't have a set system in place for how and when to look at data. At the elementary level, we may not look at long-term data like how high school students are performing, but there's value in seeing how our students are performing in regards to academics, behavior, and social emotional needs after they leave our school. We need to have a clearly defined system in place for how we look at data, when we look at data, what data we look at, and what decisions we can make with that data to help us ensure that we are continuing to improve and to do the best we can for our students. So how can we get to where we want to be? We need to make a plan. We need to determine if we want to use an educational data warehouse and analytics system to help us with data tracking, analyzing, and decision making. In our clearly defined plan, we need to outline what data to look at, how to look at it, when to look at it, and what decisions to make based off of the data we look at. There needs to be a plan in place of when grade level teams and other committees should be analyzing data together, and there needs to be time for reflecting on data and decisions as well as celebrating accomplishments.